Hello, everyone. I want to talk about the physical discomfort of changing, of shifting identities. And I wish someone would have spoken to me about this because I have been thinking all the time back then that I was doing something wrong, and it caused me so much turmoil, frustration. I've shed many tears. I've punched many pillows and I've screamed in them too. And so, while the journey of shifting into a different version of you will probably have a little bit of frustration in the mix, or maybe another emotion that you don't prefer, it doesn't have to be really intense. And that's the purpose and my intention behind making this video. I love to teach from Seth, Bashar, Neville Goddard, with my own interpretation in the mix, because just like you, I am a unique expression of all that is, and the way that I give things to you, you won't hear from anyone else. Similarly for you, what you are in the world and to the world is unique, and no one and nothing can ever replace you, which is amazing when you can really surrender into that, because you stop comparing yourself to anyone else, because you know that you are exactly how you're supposed to be. We have all these tools at our disposal that we can use to shift into a different version of ourselves. I will also speak from the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza in this particular video, because he neuroscience with everything that Seth Bashar and Neville speak and spoke about. So when we shift into a different identity, this is what happens. We have neural pathways that are now connected, and you can liken them to a path through a field. When you walk through that field, every time the same route, you will have like a path where the grass stops growing, and you will have a very distinct pathway. This is what also happens in your brain. So this pathway is also causing your body to feel a certain way. Every time you have a thought, an emotion, a chemical is released, which will cause you to feel an emotion in the body. When this thought has been thought so many times that it's now a habitual thought, aka a belief, you will have also in your physical body a habitual emotion. And that habitual emotion is your mood or your dominant vibration. Because your vibration can jump all over the board, but it can also be one that is very consistent, because you always think in a certain way. Like very moody, unhappy people, their whole face is like they look usually 50 years older than they actually are. Everything that happens is fuck my life. Why? Which is funny. It isn't funny, but it's kind of funny, because life isn't that serious. And so they have this habitual vibration that is everything sucks. And this can happen all over, like in your work, you can have a dominant vibration. You can have a dominant vibration in your relationships, with regards to where you live. Like all these different areas can have different dominant vibrations. Or maybe you're just super stubborn. And let's say Mrs. D is the one who is always super grumpy, and she's grumpy about everything, and she doesn't have a nice word to say about anything in her life. Her relationships are shitty. Everyone is always mean and they don't keep their promises, and her work, people are just annoying, and when she goes out to do groceries, it's a mess, and her family, and oh my god, seriously, I wonder why Mrs. D is still in physical reality, because her life is anything but a party. So yes, I'm going to continue with Mrs. D because this is going to help prove the point that I'm making. Based on teachings, mind you, this is not just pulled from my sleeve that I don't have a sleeve. So Mrs. D. So when Mrs. D, like her whole mindset, her whole mood is the way it is through habitual thinking, and now she's just like, her brain is just one big fuck my life mess. Excuse my French, but also don't excuse my French. So her body, her physical body, is probably super tight, and she's literally not flexible at all, probably also not strong. She probably has a lot of aches and pains in her body, because when your mind is thinking thoughts that are better left transmuted and transformed, then you can bet that your body is not feeling very pleasant either, because no nice thoughts will be no nice feelings in the body. And at one point Mrs. D might even get a disease, or maybe she already had one and she got now she feels better, but then something else came in the mix. And so Mrs. D has gone to a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop. I'm liking this story. I hope you do too. She has gone to a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop because a friend of hers gave her a book, Break the Habit of Being Yourself. And while she was really annoyed with reading it, because the book in short says, you are the problem in your life, and the way you are, your personality, creates your personal reality. So everything that's happening in your life comes from you, Mrs. D. So, but she's intrigued. So she's went to a workshop of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and there she learned that whenever she has a thought, she has a physical feeling in the body. Now the thought that is a belief has become a belief, and she thinks this is just how her life is, not realizing that she can change it. And her body is constantly in fight and flight because it thinks my life is awful, or it feels my life is awful, because thinking is for the brain, feeling is for the body. And she learns at this workshop that she can start to change her thoughts on purpose. And when she does that, the feelings in her body will change. Thus, her vibration, her dominant mood and vibration will change. She will emit a different frequency, like a radio station or a TV station, and she will have a different life experience, because she's now tuned to a radio station that says, oh my God, my life is awesome, .fm, instead of, fuck my life, why is this happening to me again, .fm. Oh yeah, we were doing radio stations. I was thinking, wasn't it TV? No. Anyway, so the thing is, it would be cool if it was that easy, right? Because if it were that easy, then everyone would have an awesome life. Because I think a lot of people know this knowledge by now. Alas, it's a little bit different. So what will happen when you start to introduce new thoughts? First of all, the neural pathways that have been walked through so often, like the field, right? So the auto response when you're not aware is to go to the pathway that is easiest. Because if you want to go from A to B, and you know that A to B takes you through that route easiest, then you just go there without thinking. So that's what the mind will do automatically. It will go to that habitual thought of, oh, everything is just bleh, because it wants to expend the least amount of effort. But Mrs. D knows that that's not how she wants to live anymore. And so she deliberately starts to think the new thoughts that is like, it's still a field, beautiful with grass, and there's no dent in the way yet. And the body will also start to buck like a stallion because it's like, yeah, but I liked that previous cocktail. Not because the body is not a good body, it's an amazing body. It's just used to getting what it wants. Like when you feed a toddler ice cream all day, every day, and all of a sudden you're going to give it Brussels sprouts, it will throw a tantrum like no tomorrow, like the world is ending. Yeah, good luck with that. So, what do you do when you know that? You sit with the toddler, you sit with yourself, you sit with the body that is like, where is my cocktail of shitty emotions? I am used to feeling fmylife.fm, and all of a sudden you're telling me you want to go to mylifeisamazing.fm. I don't think so. I like this other feeling, not because it's a good feeling, but because it doesn't know the other feeling. And when it doesn't know the other station, the other radio station, the other feeling, usually bodies, people, cats, dogs are easier. They don't like change. They're like, yeah, but I'm used to that, and please let me have that because I know what I can expect. And the other thing, even though it's a good thing, is actually dangerous to the system. Sounds interesting, but that's how it is. That's how biology works. But because you're so an awesome aware being and you can pay attention, you know what's happening, and it doesn't stop the body from freaking out. But you are more than the body and the mind. You are the awareness behind all of it, and so you know what's happening, and so you can be with it. Have you ever had, like I've had that multiple times during this journey from shifting identity, that I was going all out, crying, feeling whatnot, and all the while knowing that this is part of the whole process and being able to hold myself, which is kind of cuckoo when you think of it, right? Like someone who doesn't understand this stuff will say, well, you have a schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder or whatever, and everyone can say what they want. I know that this is how it works. And so I'm able to also be the awareness that is sitting with the part of me that is freaking out. I forgot his name. He speaks about internal family systems. And while for me, that's a little bit too much psychology. And when you're a conscious creator, psychology is not your friend because you're going to give your power away to reasons, and you want to keep the power with consciousness. And consciousness says your state of being, your frequency, your vibration, that's what creates your physical reality. You don't want to go into, yes, because your father said to you when you were 5, he said, you're so dumb and that's why. No, because you're just going to hide behind that shit. Anyway, internal family systems, I came to that point because you are your father, your mother, your big sister, your big brother. You're also an inner child, a baby, a toddler. You're all of it. So everything is inside of you, and you have that umbrella awareness. So the awareness is aware that you're thinking, it's aware that you're feeling, and it's not identified with any of it because it knows it's above that and it's regulating that and it's able to hold all of that. So when you know that this works this way, and I'm going to make an effort to put it in a short, in kind of a summary of what I just said in about 15 minutes. I'm going to do it in like one. When you are used to thinking certain thoughts, your body is used to having certain feelings. So when you start to shift into a different identity because you're like, you know what? No, this is not my life anymore. I'm going to flip it on its head. And I know I can because I have the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Neville, Seth, Bashar, who all say the same thing. Your personality creates your personal reality. Your state of being creates, Neville. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions create your physical reality. That's Seth. How does Bashar say it? He says your frequency and your vibration. I actually don't know exactly how Bashar says it now, but he speaks a lot to frequency and vibration, and that your consistency of self-definition is all important because change doesn't happen over time. There's no time, there's no linear time, there's simultaneous time, and we are perspectives. And so when your self-definition, when you start to be consistent in a new self-definition, so someone that has new thoughts and thus new feelings and new beliefs and blah, 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 then you can see a change in your physical reality. But the old identity, it doesn't want to die. The old man doesn't want to die. This is Neville. Neville speaks about old man. The new man is like, yeah, let's go. And the old man is like, dude, this is my, what are you doing? And it tries to blow the new man away with a lot of emotional turmoil. So kind of 2 minutes. So that's how it works, my dear you. When you are going through this, your best, the most beneficial thing to do is be with it. Let yourself have the tantrum and be the loving, caring parent that can be with it all. Because when a child or an animal or something that doesn't have a lot of awareness, self-awareness yet, or maybe will never have because animals have like a limited self-awareness, you be with it. You are not trying to give it reasons. You be with it. You just sit with it. You allow it to go through everything it goes through. You feel compassionate. You love it. You have grace with it. Maybe you just fall asleep with it and you just hold it until it subsides. That's it. That's the only thing you need to do. Make an effort not to take alcohol or drugs or food to push this feeling away. This feeling of I'm transforming and it hurts because I want to be the old version. Try to not, Deka, like there's an author that speaks about putting a blanket on it, because eating not for nutrition but just stuffing your face is usually you try to avoid some kind of a feeling. You know what? It's almost 20 minutes and I believe that I made my point. I will definitely talk more on this. And dudes, I don't know if you're following, but I've started to post daily since the 1st of April. We're now in July. So we still have a couple of months because I said I'm going through until the end of this year. So I will definitely get more into it. When you have any questions, then either put something in the comments or send me an email. My details are in the description. A fit mind creates a beautiful body and an epic life. We'll see you tomorrow.